Hello everyone, and welcome to, in case you missed it, a very special edition for the 7th of August, 2022. This week I'm just going to focus on one issue for in case you missed it, and that is the Senate, Congress as a whole, trying to put caps on the prices of certain medications, on insulin and other life-preserving medications. Now, as I was reading this story, so essentially the story is Congress is trying to put caps on it because obviously the people in the drug companies want to just charge everything that they possibly can and make the highest profit margin that's available. So I started thinking, why the hell have we put ourselves in this situation, and why do people put themselves in a situation where they are dependent on greedy pharmaceutical lobbyists for their own well-being? Because you know that the lobbyists are the ones that are in there trying to keep Congress from moving forward with something like this, and the companies themselves, they don't care much about the patients. It's about the money, right? Now, I understand that many of the conditions that are treated are genetic, nothing you can do about it. But when you start thinking about things with heart disease, diabetes, stroke, a lot of the medications that are taken after the onset of one of these things, those are generally a result of something that could have been preventable. And usually that's diabetes, or more likely, obesity.
The Virginia resident is alive and stays alive because of insulin.
Even with insurance, it's still costing me about $120 a month just for the insulin.
More than 37 million Americans live with diabetes. That includes an astounding 1 in 3 seniors. Some 7 million Americans depend on insulin.
It's prolonging my life, so it's necessary.
Just listen to the way she says that. It's prolonging my life. It's prolonging. It's almost misery in the words. She's not enjoying what's going on with her life right now. I mean, just listen to her tone. Look at how she's talking. The video that this is part of the news article about the story about Congress. But essentially, she's talking about how difficult her life is and expensive and miserable now that she is living with diabetes. Now, again, I understand type 1 diabetes, genetic, nothing you can do. Epigenetics might have something to say with that, but I'm not going to get into that. But most of diabetes is type 2 diabetes, secondary to obesity. So let's chalk up most of the insulin use to type 2 diabetes, which, like I said, is a result of obesity. And now let's take a look at some other things that are used by people regularly as the result of obesity.
If you have high blood pressure, you're going to be on medications, and sometimes more than one. The old-timey blood pressure medicines are the diuretics. That's the first ones we ever had, and those are great. They wash out sodium and fluid out of your system, and that helps tend to reduce blood pressure.
Right, so blood pressure medications. Now, of course, obesity isn't the only reason for high blood pressure, just like diabetes isn't only caused by obesity, right? There can be other reasons, but it's generally an anomaly. In the US, most high blood pressure is caused by stress and obesity, and obesity is like kind of a surefire way to give yourself high blood pressure, and you'll be on blood pressure meds forever. It also leads to strokes and all of that, but I didn't even want to get into all the medications for strokes because, my God, I mean, it's so variable and dependent on what type of a stroke, where, what artery, so that part is a little more sketchy, but blood pressure is pretty obvious. Now let's take a look at the way that they talk about, for example, heart medications. Just listen to the way they talk.
Remember to take these medications exactly as they are prescribed to get the most benefit. You may not feel any differently when you take these medications, but you should continue taking them unless instructed to stop by your doctor.
You may not feel any different and may not make a difference, but take them until you're told not to anymore. Now, I am not advocating for people to stop taking their medication. I am not a medical doctor. All right, so don't think for a second that I'm telling you to stop taking medications. What I am telling you is that when you're on medication, the way that they talk like this to everyone, and it runs your life. Medications run your life. I've seen people that have pill boxes that, they take 8 medications 4 times a day. Like insane amounts of medication. You would not believe how many pills some people have to take depending on their condition. And a lot of it, almost all of it, in fact, is from preventable things. Preventable things. Here's another great example of something preventable. Obesity is related big time to CPAP. Sleep apnea masks, right? So you get big enough, the weight's on your chest, your neck is too big, you can't breathe while you sleep. So you have to wear a mask to force oxygen down your gullet because you're beyond the point where you can do it yourself. Take a look.
And another big thing about obesity and heart failure is that folks who are obese often have sleep apnea.
What John saw was video of himself sleeping and trying desperately to breathe without his mask. Images that were both incredibly disturbing for the patient and highly effective.
Here's how you don't have that happen. A high level of cardiovascular fitness. That's right, yeah, don't gain too much weight. And this doesn't just mean fat either. Bodybuilders deal with this a lot, and strongmen deal with this. They're just too big. Your body's not meant to be that big. Sleep apnea is generally related to that. Oh yes, and now we get to the fun part. Vaccines. Now, because of YouTube, I'm not going to offer much commentary other than the fact that vaccines are out there. People make lots of money off of them. And it's conceivable, and now remember that, I used the word conceivable, YouTube. It's conceivable that a strong immune system with a healthy, active person could, at the very least, supplement the immune system of a person who may need a vaccine. How about that? Can I say that? Is that giving enough ground away? And here's the thing. You know how many times during COVID is like, I would say something like, oh, I'm not worried about COVID, or I'm not scared of it. Don't really want the vaccine. That's what I would say, and people would be like, well, yeah, but you're young and healthy. And I stopped to think about that, and I was like, the reason old people were more they're more likely to die from COVID is because they were more likely to be deconditioned, overweight, compromised immune system, so on. If you focus very hard on maintaining your immune system by being active, eating properly, etc., 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 maybe that would be less of a problem. I hope I was diplomatic enough with that explanation of where I'm sitting at with these. If you think I was diplomatic enough? Leave in the comments if I was diplomatic enough.
The most effective way to prevent influenza is through vaccination.
Vaccines keep us safe and healthy.
You're not the only person out there. When you're vaccinated, you're vaccinating yourself, but you're protecting the community.
It's presented as the way, the safest way, and in many cases, the only way. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. Let's take a look at mental health, because this one's a big deal.
Okay, in this video, we are going to talk about some medications that are used for both depression and anxiety. Let's first talk about selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. This class of medication includes drugs such as paroxetine, sertraline, and fluoxetine.
Now, I understand that medications to help manage mental health are a big part of it. I am not someone who's opposed to that. But what I wish is that it was more about helping people to change their lifestyle in a way that could help with things like depression and anxiety, because don't mistake this. Depression and anxiety have gotten worse because of the way that we live in the West. We live a very fast-paced life. Money is at the center of everything. We eat poorly. We're very isolated because of social media. And because of that, this has been able to turn into a business. Look at this. Tens of billions of dollars are made every year off antidepressants alone. So what does that mean? Well, it indicates to me that the people who are in charge of your health are making money off of you not being healthy. And so the things that are actually going to fix your health are not necessarily always going to be things that would be recommended by at least the lobbyists in DC. Can we say that? The lobbyists and the people beneath them? Because I'm taking a very roundabout way of saying this. If you catch my drift, people want to make money. People want to make money. Let me put it that way. Speaking of which, do you know how much money is made off of obesity each year in the U.S.? Want to take a guess? The answer is roughly around $200 billion, and $60 billion in just Medicare and Medicaid spending alone. So what's the point? Well, as a medical professional, I'm not opposed to using medications, right? I can't be, of course not. But as a person, what I am opposed to is living your life in such a way that you must rely on a high number of medications that you have a choice whether or not to put yourself in a position to rely on them. That's what I'm opposed to. So what's the solution? Well, I have a few. So take a look. Get out in nature. Go on a hike. Hike in a state park. Go out somewhere where it's beautiful and just take pictures. Spend some time in the sun. Just take a little bit of time alone to look at things. Get into the gym and work out. Don't be afraid to just be a little goofy. Go on a road trip, but most important of all, spend time with people that are important to you. All of these things have been proven to help lower your stress, make you more healthy, and just make you feel better overall. And the most important thing in this conversation is that it takes your health out of the hands of people who don't care about you. Because the people that are manufacturing and selling you these drugs, they don't care. They're making their money, and that's what they care about. And let me tell you, they're making plenty. So if you don't want to be paying these people for the rest of your life, do those things that I recommended. Take time to yourself and just really, really try to be healthy overall. I understand that there's conditions that we can't do anything about, but those things that are in your control, do your best to control them. That's all I've got for you today. Hopefully everybody has a happy and healthy weekend. I will try to see you guys tomorrow. I'm working on the audio. I have a couple of things that I've found that I needed to fix. I hope that my Dollar General mic is going to be fixed by tomorrow night. We shall see. I will see you next time.